Candace Owens posted to her stories saying she spoke to a source that claims Ryan Reynolds is the problem. She said the tip came from someone who allegedly worked on the set and said lately everyone is bashing Blake Lively, but apparently the true villain of the saga is Ryan.
And Ryan Reynolds, childhood teacher, reached out to me, and I wasn't going to share it, but I think I have to now because it's super interesting and compelling for those of us that are interested in the psychology of this couple.
Candace Owens, the conservative firebrand known for her unfiltered commentary, has once again thrust herself into the Hollywood spotlight. This time, her target is none other than Ryan Reynolds, the affable actor famed for his quick wit and charm. The catalyst? A swirling legal tempest involving Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively, and her It Ends With Us co-star, Justin Baldoni. Allegations of misconduct, defamation lawsuits, and a purported smear campaign have transformed this Hollywood drama into a veritable feast for media pundits.
This person is alleging that everything started when Ryan Reynolds decided to stroll onto the movie set one day and review the dailies. This is an industry term for all the footage that they filmed for the day. And he also decided to take a look at the script, and between the two, something allegedly set him off. This person claims that the production assistants then overheard Ryan and Blake having an argument in her trailer. Ryan Reynolds started being on the set on a regular basis as if he were her chaperone, and that is when he started inserting himself into the actual production, including writing lines. And then she says the next part was alleged in their lawsuits that Ryan and Blake, perhaps in response to her husband's anger, began inserting themselves in the effort to change lines and change scenes. And of course, the allegation that Ryan Reynolds was making fun of Justin Baldoni in his movie when he played the character Nice Pool. And we did hear this, I believe, from Justin's lawsuit, but correct me if I'm wrong, but she also says that allegedly Ryan presented an ultimatum to WME, the biggest talent agency in Hollywood, whose client roster include everyone from Taylor Swift to Justin Baldoni.
Owens, never one to mince words, has seized upon this scandal with characteristic fervor, directing her eye squarely at Reynolds. But what exactly did Reynolds do to earn a spot in Owens's rhetorical crosshairs? Let's delve into the intricacies of this celebrity maelstrom.
So what I've done today for you guys, I've actually built out a timeline. I will share this on Instagram after the show because the timeline really makes it clear that something very much happened when Ryan Reynolds came home because of the SAG-AFTRA strike that took place in July of 2023.
We will not be having our jobs taken away and giving to robots.
So Ryan was away from home because Deadpool was filming in Canada and England. I know way too much about this. And Blake Lively was home because It Ends With Us was filming in New Jersey and she lives in New York. So that would have been like a cab ride back and forth. So they were away from each other at the beginning of this filming.
No balake here today.
And in June of 2023, this is really important. Things are so great between Justin and Blake. She invites him into her trailer while she was breastfeeding. Okay. She's like pumping in my trailer. This is June 3rd. If you want to work out our line. So he's in there in her trailer and she is pumping. I shouldn't say breastfeeding. She's breast pumping in her trailer. And this is according to Justin's lawsuit, and he presented this evidence. So this is a fact, essentially. Nothing was wrong between Justin and Blake. You don't invite someone who sexually assaults you into your trailer alone.
The saga began in late 2024 when Blake Lively accused Justin Baldoni of misconduct on the set of their film It Ends With Us. Lively alleged that Baldoni's behavior created a hostile work environment, citing inappropriate comments and unsolicited physical advances. She claimed that several women were prepared to testify about Baldoni's actions during filming. However, Baldoni dismissed these allegations as unsubstantial hearsay from unnamed individuals, maintaining that his interactions were strictly professional.
Suddenly, just a few days after that, on June 14th, is when the Writers Guild of America begins picketing and they halt production. And Justin's lawsuit notes that it was during that lead up to the strike, the big strike, which happened in July 2023, that for the first time, Blake begins requesting to see the dailies. So it was an outrageous request, completely unorthodox, okay, for her as an actress and a producer to be requesting to see the dailies. So like, she's home now. So from this time in June until this strike ends, she is now home, but also Ryan Reynolds is home, okay? I don't know, I feel, and I obviously have no idea, but I feel Ryan said, get me all the dailies. Not saying like, send me the 3 edits or the 3 takes. She just wants the running. Do you know how much time it takes? Like, that's an editor's nightmare.
In retaliation, Baldoni filed a $400 million lawsuit against Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of defamation and extortion. He alleged that the couple used their star power to tarnish his reputation, orchestrating a smear campaign that extended to major publications like the New York Times. Baldoni's legal team argued that the couple manipulated text messages and other communications to paint him in a negative light, leading to severe online harassment targeting his associates.
Ryan Reynolds actually has a book that is published. It's not, he didn't write the book, but essentially, and this is some Comic-Con stuff, guys, like literally, like if you're deep into Marvel Universe or DC Universe, you may know about these things. I definitely did not know about these things, but they create these books essentially about all of the movies. And they're sort of these art books. This one's called Marvel Studios, Deadpool and Wolverine, the art of the movie. Essentially what that is, it's a gallery of never before seen artwork, which is the description, and exclusive lithographs and in-depth interviews with the creative team. And so they sit down with these characters and the people that created them, and they ask them questions. And I am scared. I am so scared. So I'm going to read you directly what Ryan had to say when they sat down with him to discuss Nice Boy.
Enter Candace Owens, never one to miss an opportunity to insert herself into a high-profile controversy. Owens seized upon this Hollywood scandal, directing her eye squarely at Ryan Reynolds. During an episode of her show Candace, she suggested that Reynolds should be deported back to Canada, labeling his alleged actions as high treason. Owens claimed to have received a tip from someone who worked on the set of It Ends With Us, alleging that Reynolds' insecurities led him to interfere with the film's production, ultimately contributing to the legal fallout.
In the recent filing, we can now see that Ryan was panicked in general about him being apart from Blake Lively, so much so that when they first communicated with one another, okay, so this is the first time that Ryan Reynolds and Justin Baldoni are speaking to one another, and they're exchanging text messages, and Justin Baldoni does this thing where he's just like so nice and was like, he literally, to sum it up, because I'm not going to read Justin's entire text, he basically is like, I was nervous to even text you. I'm such a fan of you. Like, you're so great. You're amazing. Your wife's amazing. And it then says this like really almost first day of middle school kind of thing where he's like, all of this to say, I know I sound ridiculous, but like, I just really want to be friends with you. Like, he literally tells Ryan he wants to be friends with you. And I could just see Ryan sitting there like, yes, this is exactly what I want. A puppy to kick in the mouth. And you'll do what I say. So I'm going to show you these exchanges. This is Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni. If you guys have not read through them, I recommend that you go on to the site to read it. He even extends like saying how wonderful Blake was because, you know, she was very nice to his wife, says that Blake sent the sweetest message to his wife. I mean, he's being so respectful, falling over himself to be respectful and to say like, hey, can we still be friends? And Ryan Reynolds then sends this text message. And he basically says like, sorry for the delay. I've been writing. The girls are sick again, whatever. It tells him essentially that he hit the jackpot with Blake Lively. She literally passes on every film and every filmmaker all the time. The one thing I know, and I speak from a deep wellspring of experience here, having her in your court.
Owens didn't stop there. She criticized Reynolds for allegedly mocking the legal dispute during the Saturday Night Live 50th anniversary special. In a segment where hosts Tina Fey and Amy Poehler asked Reynolds how he was doing, he quipped, "Great. Why? What have you heard?" Owens interpreted this as a veiled reference to the ongoing legal drama, accusing Reynolds of using humor to deflect from serious allegations. She tweeted, "Everyone, it's not okay that you used Hollywood actors to ruthlessly bully and humiliate someone under the guise of Deadpool jokes." Ryan Reynolds, "Okay, but what if I showed up in a room filled with Hollywood actors and made one more joke?"
Ryan Reynolds is throwing down some alpha male, and by alpha male, I mean extremely beta male. I have rich and powerful friends at the top. That's not a confirmation, but I'm looking at the length of the strip. It's given Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift would say the same. My wife is wonderful. Okay. Anyways, jumping back into these messages, he then moves immediately to ask Justin Baldoni to change their production dates because he's never been apart from Blake Lively so long. He basically says he tried to do it on his end. I'm paraphrasing here. You can go read it on the website. You know, I was frantically trying to address this. I was frantically trying to change this, shorten the shoot, but I can't because, you know, Deadpool and Wolverine is set in stone. They already booked the studio, but like, could you do something to try to punt this? And he ends it with this, which is funny that we're talking about like a sexual lawsuit and what's appropriate. He ends it by saying, all this to say, I'd have your line producer's face tattooed to my perineum. Okay. So that is the skin between Ryan's parts. I don't even know how to appropriately state that other than perineum. Okay. pull that back up again. I would have your line producer's face tattooed to my perineum if he, she, or they can figure out how to start 2 weeks earlier. Completely understand how big of an ask that is, but the perineum is one of the most nervy parts of the human body to expose to trauma.
The public's reaction to Owens' commentary was mixed. Some agreed with her critique, arguing that Hollywood often uses humor as a shield for toxic behavior. One user commented, "Hollywood loves using humor as a shield for their toxic behavior. If you're going to bully, own it. Don't hide behind scripted jokes." Others felt that Owens was overreaching, inserting herself into a complex situation without all the facts. As the legal battle trudges on, with a trial date set for March 2026, the public remains divided. Some view Lively's allegations as a courageous stand against misconduct, while others see Baldoni as a victim of a coordinated character assassination. Amidst this, Ryan Reynolds finds himself entangled not just legally, but also in the court of public opinion, where figures like Candace Owens wield significant influence.
Well, Ryan Reynolds on the Enneagram is a psycho. That's what he is. He's just a psycho. His number is psycho. And we had suspected, just by piecing together everything, that he didn't want Blake Lively to be away from him. Remember, I built out the timeline and I worked through it. And I realized that, oh, this is interesting. Like, Ryan Reynolds is filming at the same time as Blake Lively. He's also doing his Wrexham football stuff. And they're basically apart. And I'm sure he popped back a few times, but for like 4 months scheduled to be apart in a different country. And yeah, I felt that Ryan was kicking up some dust because he didn't want to leave Blake Lively alone with Justin Baldoni because he's away in the UK. And then I was positing that perhaps when he got home, he was either reading her text messages, reading through the dailies, reading through the script, and he just decided, okay, you know what? This entire production needs to be halted. I don't trust my wife, okay? And my strongest inclination for that was the fact that on the day that the SAG-AFTRA strike ended, on the day that both of them had to go back to work, meaning Ryan had to go back to film for Wolverine and Deadpool, Wayfarer gets that shocking email of demands, and basically their production gets suspended while Ryan gets to go in the UK and feel confident knowing that she's not going to see Justin Baldoni until he's back.
In the end, this saga serves as a stark reminder of the complexities inherent in the #Me Too era, where allegations can swiftly lead to public trials by media and pundits alike. As for Owens, her latest target has provided ample material for her brand of sharp, unrelenting critique, ensuring that the intersection of Hollywood and political commentary remains as turbulent as ever.
At least aware of why his quote-unquote best friend, Ryan Reynolds, was writing in all of these lines, especially because we did the timeline and we showed you that this was not initially supposed to be a part of their principal filming. And then they went back and they did some filming after the SAG-AFTRA strike, and somebody had admitted that they had done all of that dog pool filming. I said dog poo. That too, dog pool filming at the very end of the movie. So it's interesting. It's very interesting. Hugh would have known exactly what his best friend was thinking, especially because it wasn't a part of the larger plot of the movie. Hugh Jackman was also in the now infamously cringe It Ends With Us promotional skit that had nothing to do with promoting the movie, which was about domestic violence, where Ryan directed it and he brought in his mom and Blake was in the background. We learned that, but he also brought in his best friend because he just wanted a little bit of A-list power there. And when you're really obviously trying to be a high school bully, you want to be like, we're the cool kids and you're nothing. What better way to make him uncomfortable than to promote his movie?
Candace Owens isn't just stopping at Ryan Reynolds. She's making it her personal mission to call out what she sees as Hollywood's hypocrisy. She has framed this entire situation as yet another example of elites protecting their own while throwing others under the bus when convenient. According to Owens, Reynolds is just the latest celebrity to get tangled in a web of legal and social consequences, and she's openly questioning whether the justice system will actually hold him accountable or if Hollywood will shield him the way it has for so many others.
No. It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate.
Holy sh**.
What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
Sir, I have no idea what's happening at all today.
And so I also want to remind you that Hugh Hefner then appeared at the It Ends With Us premiere. Again, not his movie. Kind of weird that he's hitting the red carpet with them. He obviously knows what is going on. What would that conversation have been on the way to the premiere as they made Justin Baldoni go really, really early and then stuffed him in the basement? Again, this was all just meant to be a power display, and Hugh Jackman played a role in it. He did. So he was one of the unnamed dragons, if you will, in all of this. And it looks like for that, he is being awarded for his contributions with a deposition. All right. So check out this headline. You can see the Daily Mail. It says, surprising new twist in Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni legal battle as Hugh Jackman is pulled into the saga. And then it tells us that according to a source, Hugh Jackman is going to be deposed before the trial because Baldoni's legal team wants to get the full scope of Reynolds' conduct during the time that It Ends With Us was being filmed. An insider also told the Mail that, quote, Hugh will be deposed if this goes to trial. There is no way that he cannot. Baldoni's legal team is doing everything they need to get a full scope of Ryan's conduct during the time that It Ends With Us was filmed.
Owens took to her podcast to double down on her claims, calling Reynolds a smug liberal who loves to preach morality but conveniently forgets about it when his own house is on fire. She accused him of hiding behind humor, using his public persona as a defense mechanism instead of addressing the serious accusations against him and his wife. This is how Hollywood works, she ranted. They joke, they deflect, they gaslight the public into thinking nothing happened, until they can quietly move on to the next blockbuster film.
Ryan Reynolds' bromances, his various bromances over the years. We've talked about him and Jake Gyllenhaal. And obviously, this has been a bromance that has been very much thrown in the public space. Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids. And he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources, like financial resources, to trying to convince the public that these bromances are perfectly normal. And we're not really asking for that convincing. Like, I don't need people to convince me that guys can hang out with one another, but he feels like he has to make that effort. So he's like, nothing's weird here. Nothing's weird. Bromances are so normal. I mean, notoriously, that's the reason why he flew out Liz Plank, Justin Baldoni's podcast partner, flew her all the way over, presumably to the UK, to provide her expert testimony as to why bromances are like totally chill, right? They're totally okay. Remember, here's what she had to say in his Wrexham documentary about that.
The definition of the word bromance is just, it's a platonic relationship between 2 men. There's no female equivalent to the term bromance. The female equivalent is friends. And so the fact that we need a term to describe 2 men going out to dinner, I think, is very revealing about what men are allowed or are not allowed to do and how much self-policing there is when it comes to their relationships with other men. So bromance is almost this permission for men to connect and to show love to each other because it's like a joke.
Her audience ate it up. Social media erupted with heated debates over whether Owens had a point or was simply using the controversy for clout. Some conservatives rallied behind her, arguing that Hollywood actors like Reynolds have been given a free pass for far too long. Others pointed out that Owens is known for stirring the pot and questioned whether she actually had any real insight into the case. Meanwhile, Reynolds has remained relatively quiet about the whole ordeal. Aside from his subtle jab on Saturday Night Live, he has largely avoided direct commentary, letting his lawyers handle the messy details. But that hasn't stopped the internet from speculating. Has the usually untouchable Ryan Reynolds finally met his match? Is this the beginning of a larger unraveling for one of Hollywood's most beloved figures? Or is this just another media circus that will blow over once the next scandal takes center stage? Only time will tell. But if there's one thing certain in this mess, it's that Candace Owens isn't letting up anytime soon.